Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros review. In this episode, Last of the Mohicans, 1920 silent original, which is about 100 years old this year. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros review. I'm your host, Mila Sipka, and joining me is taking a wild ride for the world of science fiction action and horror, all from a personal DVD collection of about 1,200 DVDs, plus review Blu-rays, VHS tapes, TV shows, whatever. In this episode, we look at the 1920 original adaptation of Last of the Mohicans, directed by Maurice Tournier and Clarence Brown. Now, this is available in public domain. There are like two versions of this film available. One that was a restoration print that was made in I think the early 2000s or something. And so if you're looking for public domain prints, it might be easy to find. Now, the year is 1757 during the French and Indian War in the New World, in other words, America. The British fort of Fort Edward has been a target of French military efforts to capture it, and the French and their allies in the Native American tribe the Hurons, which they have been paying by supplying them with their alcohol, are trying to take over it. Captain Randolph, a cowardly British officer who believes that it is better to serve the French, decides to defect to them, supplying them with information that the formidable left rampart of the fort is non-functional thanks to broken weaponry, and the French force the fort's commander to surrender. Meanwhile, the Hurons' chief runner, Magua, has the hots for the fort's colonel's eldest daughter, Cora Munro, but she has fallen in love with Uncas, the last remaining brave of the Mohican tribe. As Cora and Uncas develop their relationship, Magua and the Hurons, after getting a skinful of the cheap French booze, invade the fort and massacre the civilians inside. Cora and her younger sister Alice are captured by Magua, and Uncas attempts to rescue them. But Magua invokes an old law which gives him protection for a few hours, and Uncas must obey the law, only being able to attack by sundown. But by then, the lover's fate is already sealed. Now, the book The Last of the Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper was pretty popular in its day of the late 19th century, and has been so far the subject of not one, but four adaptations. This 1920 silent was the first. As most people are familiar with the flashy 1992 Daniel Day-Lewis version, which was pretty big in its day as well, the 1920 original tends to be a little forgotten, but despite not being too spectacular by today's standards, it's actually the most faithful of all the adaptations, and in my opinion, the best of the bunch. Last of the Mohicans is a film that, while staying true to the spirit of the book upon which it was based, it does, however, cut through the crap, removing all the superfluous subplots and unnecessary dialogue that plagued the book. Cooper wasn't actually too interested in keeping a decent pace, instead just filling his work with a lot of filler. And since at that time movie making was at its relative infancy, with only silent films to go on, the film's decision to stick to the basic gist of the story, and by the way, Hawkeye is only a minor character of little consequence to the story, unlike the later adaptations. And Ditch the Fat proved to make it a remarkably good film, and in the eyes of some critics, a masterpiece of the silent era. Personally, this kind of film ain't really my type of film, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. It proved a surprisingly good watch, with the cool for the time camera tricks, extreme fire shots, tight editing, fast motion use of shadows conveying threatening situations, along with the horrific scene where the civilians are massacred by the nasty drunken Huron savages. By the way, using the word savage is not being racist here, I'm just simply mean that the Hurons were acting in a very nasty and savage way. A scene that went a long way to enforce the then prevalent view of Native Americans, which continued into the Western genre decades later. By the way, Boris Karloff actually had a very early acting gig in this film as a Native American, although he remains uncredited for his performance here. The climax is a bit of a nail-biter, pretty impressive for a 1928 silent production, and the ending is a poignant one that shows the futility of hostility and the horrors of war. Also an important lesson condemning the practice of paying primitive tribes of alcohol, something that was sadly in common usage during the frontier years. This makes an excellent pairing with the 1992 adaptation. Now, for the gore, there's no gore, but the massacre scene is still an eye-opener. There's no nudity here, although I should mention there's quite a bit of mild eroticism in the central relationship. That's pretty surprising. I give Last of the Mohicans a B+, 7 out of 10. A very good film that will interest anybody who's a fan of the 1992 adaptation, that's the Daniel Day-Lewis one, or the book. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, I don't do requests, but if you want to know if I have a particular film, just hit me up in the comments below. And I hope you guys are staying safe, and that's it for this review.